folks? Welcome to OTD, also known as On the Deck, where you can get all the sports you need in 10 minutes. My name is Adam Orduna. This is my mom, Gina.
He's a journalist.
She's the enthusiast.
I'm enthusiastic because it is officially fall. I mean, it's been fall for a couple of weeks, but it's cool. The leaves are blowing. The wind is catching us.
Yep.
But it's football weather. That's what fall means.
Yes.
Fall is football.
End of October, getting ready to transition to November. This is really the best time of year when you're talking about football.
Correct.
Because now you kind of get the long sleeves out, and it's the biggest games of the year are happening. High school playoffs are starting to kind of take place, and so everything is really the most exciting part of the season. And so we're really excited to talk about kind of where we're at right now in college football. This is what our episode is about this week, or at least for this Tuesday's episode. Week 9, going into Week 9. We're going to list off the top 25 after this weekend's wins and losses, and then we'll kind of review where we stood with our predictions from Thursday's episode as well, going into last week. So let's go ahead. I'll list out the top 10, and then you follow suit, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so Alabama stays at number 1. They've been number 1 besides, I think, 1 week this whole season.
And really the AP kept them there, but it was USA Today.
Exactly. Said, well, we'll
start with Alabama.
Exactly. So Alabama's number 1, Penn State's number 2, Georgia at 3, TCU at 4. Then we've got Wisconsin at 5, Ohio State at 6, Clemson at 7, and then you've got Miami at 8. And then Notre Dame at 9, and then you've got Oklahoma at 10.
Well, number 11 is Oklahoma State. Number 12 is Washington, UW. Number 13 is Virginia Tech. Number 14 is NC State, a team that I was hot on earlier on. Then number 15 is Washington State, because they got the Pirate up there. You got 16 is Michigan State, who was unranked for a large part of the season, coming on strong. 17 is USF. 18 is UCF, repping the AAC. 19 is Auburn. Still don't believe in them, but number 20 is Stanford.
Then 21 is USC. I'm surprised about that one.
Right?
22 is West Virginia. 23 is LSU. 24 is Memphis,
and
another
25,
AAC team. And then Iowa State, Big 12 rounding out. So congratulations to them. They've had a really strong start to this year, and they've been playing really well, and I think they deserve to be 25 right now.
I agree. So, Iowa State deserves to be a top 25 team.
Yeah.
They can compete.
Yep, they're playing hard.
This is almost like the Seneca Wallace days at Iowa State.
A little bit.
Out there. But you know what? They've got a young coach who's enthusiastic.
Fiery.
How long did we say that's what Iowa State needed?
Forever.
Forever.
Yep.
You've got the right coach who's Cyclone Nation. You better do everything you can to keep him.
Yep.
He is doing the right stuff at the right time, the right way. Who are the stars at Iowa State?
Not a lot of people that
you don't know, and that's the point, because there isn't a Seneca Wallace. This isn't a one-dog show. This is a group of football players coming together, very K-State-esque, to play good ball, and they are playing good, tough football, and they whooped Oklahoma. Anybody else who comes, they're like, come on, all takers.
Yep.
I mean, they have their hands full of TCU, but other than that,
they only have 2 losses so far, and they're playing really good football, and that's one of those programs where they have a great fan base. If you stay involved and invested, you're going to do a lot of really good things. It's kind of like Kirk Ferentz at Iowa, the rival school in the state. The fan base there is really strong. They've got really good facilities, and people just believe in that team. So that's Iowa State. If the fan base stays involved and believes in the coach, and the coach is doing good things with those kids, it's a really good program to be at.
You know what else I noticed about this week's top 25? There are 5 of the 10 Big 12 teams in the top 25, including a top 4 team.
Correct.
So miss me with all the preseason, middle of the summer. Oh, I don't believe in the Big 12. They don't really play football there. They do something else. It's we play football in the Big 12.
Exactly.
And half of our whole conference is top 25 ranked right now.
Correct.
Just saying. Okay, let's move on.
Yes. Well, that's kind of where we're at right now with Week 9. There's a couple other polls out there that have some teams in different positions, but generally this is where everybody's seated for the most part. I've been saying for the last couple weeks, now that you get past Week 4, where your kind of scrimmage games are, since there's really not a preseason for college football, you kind of scrimmage teams, or not scrimmage, but you schedule teams to where you should win, week 1 or 2, or within the first couple weeks you kind of play teams that really aren't at your level, but you kind of tune up on those teams. Now after those first few weeks, you got to start really winning the big games, because now you are playing in conference play. There's a big weekend coming up. A lot of teams are in their conference play, and so these games do matter, especially when you're talking about conference championships and things like that. You want to win these big games moving forward, and so that's where we're at coming into week 9. Let's go through who we picked last weekend.
Perfect.
As that's kind of where these teams lay from what took place over the weekend.
Let's do that. Okay, so I'll just full transparency. I have been beating Adam all year in predictions. Like, I mean, it's not even close. Last week he won. We picked 7 games. He was 6-1. I was 3-4. So that's
notice
all right.
the humility here. I'm not saying anything. I had the best weekend, and she's got a preface. I've been beating them all weekend, all year long.
Your job is to be measured.
I'm the one winning every weekend.
My
I'm
job
sitting
is
here
to be
calm, cool,
obnoxious.
collected, just saying, hey,
Back
let's
to
move
Penn
on.
State versus Michigan.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
We both picked Penn State, and we were right. We also picked the Oklahoma K-State game. It broke our hearts to pick against our Cats. We both picked Oklahoma, and man, we were almost wrong.
It was
We've
close.
never in our life been rooting so hard to be wrong, because K-State fought them and slugged
literally
back.
The last
Oklahoma
play of
pulled
the
it out.
game. Yep.
Last play of the game. We picked the Notre Dame USC game. Now, we did split on that. Adam picked USC. I don't know why. I picked Notre Dame, and bam, 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 come on, Irish. And they won. Now we get to the bad part of the thing. Okay, so we picked the Michigan State versus Indiana. We both picked Michigan State, and they did win.
Yep.
We picked Auburn and Arkansas. We split here. Adam picked Auburn, and I picked Arkansas. Auburn did win that game. We also picked the Memphis and Houston game, and we split. I was going with Houston. You know, the Cougars, I still kind of have a little soft spot for them. Memphis is a better team than I thought. They're inconsistent, but they are good, and Memphis did win. Is that all 7 games? Did I miss anybody? Memphis, Auburn, Michigan State.
I think we got them all there.
Yeah, I think we got them all.
So
there
it was a interesting
Oh, no,
weekend.
you know what? It was the Oklahoma State-Texas game I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
We split on that. I picked Texas, and you picked Oklahoma State. That was a game down to the wire. Literally, that true freshman quarterback they have, Ellinger. Literally just had one little snap judgment in overtime and just blew it. But watch out for UT. These horns are coming for people next year.
They're still a year away, maybe even 2 years from really being a national championship team. They're not a national championship team yet. I don't know where they're going to be next year. They will be better next year.
They're a top 15
like
team
I said, I don't know if they'll be a national championship team next year, which is what the expectation is when you're down at Texas.
Well, they need to get
but
over
they
it.
will be a really good team next year. Right now, they're a competitive team this year, and that's what you want. They're fighting hard.
Well, you have a brand new
coach.
coach.
In every single game.
Exactly, and we're going to go on a tangent on this. You want a brand new coach to be competitive, then you want him to be a contender, and then you want him to be a champion.
Correct.
Competitive, contender, and champion, the 3 C's. That's what you're looking for.
Correct.
I think Texas has that worked out. They're competitive in all their games this year.
Yeah.
They're going to be, what was the second one?
A contender.
They're going to be a contender,
Yes.
and then they're going to be champion.
Correct.
So speaking of that, I want to put a pin in that and come back to Nebraska, but before we do, there's 2 teams that I really think we need to talk about that were everybody's preseason picks, blah, blah, blah. One of those is Michigan, and the other is Florida State. Both of those teams are out of the top 25 rankings.
Yes.
Both of them seem like, well, definitely Florida State seems like it's heading the wrong way. What are your thoughts on those 2 teams?
I think for right now, it's a confidence issue. I think both of those teams had really high expectations for this year. It didn't go the way that they wanted it to as far as Florida State. Losing DeAndre Francois at quarterback is a huge hit. Those are huge shoes to fill. And so now you're relying on a young guy to come in and take over the offense. And then the ACC, it is a tough conference, and you've got to play your best ball week after week. So I don't know. I think this might just be a down year for them. Mm-hmm. And then as far as Michigan goes, it is a confidence thing. They don't have an offense. You could see that early on.
Their defense is still doing well.
The defense is doing very well, but they don't have a quarterback. And again, the same thing with Florida State. When you don't have a quarterback, it makes it really difficult to be dynamic. And in college football, you have to be dynamic. It's not the pros where you can just throw it up to your 6'5" receiver every play or just ground and pound. You've got to be able to run the football. And I think that's one, with your quarterback, that is. And I think that's one thing that you've got to be able to do. And Michigan's just not doing that right now.
Well, I am a huge Jim Harbaugh fan. I've always also liked the Wolverines.
Yep.
So I'm going to still stick with them and believe it. I think they've got something for Ohio State. No matter what their record is going in there, they're going to fight and claw. There's no shame in losing to Penn State. The Michigan State game, I just didn't get it. But I guess Michigan State was under the radar a little bit.
Well, it's another rival game, so you never know what can happen in those games. Records are always thrown out, and it's just about who's ready to play that game.
Well, I know we're running out of time, but I just want to say, Nebraska fans, Husker Nation, you've got the right AD. We both believe in him.
Bill Moose, the new hire. Yep.
Bill Moose.
Bill Moose.
But what I'm telling you is that you've got to be on a 4-year plan, and your years 1 and 2, you need to be on the bottom seat, which is to be competitive. You may not win these games, but just don't get blown out.
Right.
We don't want anybody else coming in putting 50, 60 points on it.
Correct.
Be competitive. Then in year either 2 or year 3, probably year 3, you want to be contenders. You want to be somebody people are looking at, top 10, top 15. Then you can look in year 3 or 4 as championship level, whether it's championship in the Big Ten or in your division in the Big Ten or even national champions. So Nebraska, think about the 3 C's and look for the coach that can do that for you.
Correct. I think that's well said. That's exactly what it has to be. Doesn't matter who the coach is, but that's the formula for any team looking to try to rebuild and restructure.
When you're rebuilding, get competitive. Don't let people blow you out.
Right.
Become a contender.
Yes.
And then look at championships.
Correct.
If you're looking for a quick fix championship coach, you're in trouble.
Right.
You got to start being contenders. Quit getting blown out.
Yep, I agree. Well, this is week 9 going into week 9, and there's a lot of content for us to continue to be looking forward to.
Because college football is the bomb.
College football is awesome.
It's just the best.
And it's the best time of year. It's fall, and we're just really excited to continue to bring you the show. We want to say we appreciate your time, folks, and we'll see you again.